Hola amigos, Ghost here, and today we continue our campaign into Secret Wars. DeeDee's time in Yugoslavia has come to an end. Tito's forces around the city of Sujeska were destroyed, and the city was massacred, despite all that DeeDee and the others did to stem the tide. Tito's army would carry on, but without DeeDee and her friends. They prepared to leave Yugoslavia behind to help other people. During this, DeeDee was told another story about her late father. Now, DeeDee and her friends travel to Poland to aid the Polish resistance against the Nazis. Let's do this! It's time to continue on to the next campaign, Operation Belt, in Poland, from August 1943 to February 1944. Bomber support. The RAF is mounting an offensive on a Nazi test facility at, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that Polish word, escort the bombers and keep them safe while they level any German test sites. Expect heavy AA fire and a strong Luftwaffe presence. I was about to say heavy resistance, I don't know why. Objectives: destroy barrage balloons before bombers arrive within the time limit. Alrighty then. And it looks like we have multiple recommendations: the Soviet fighter, the Spitfire, and the Stuka. I think the Spitfire will be the best for this operation. August 17th, 1943. Poland. My first task is to observe an RAF bombing of Nazi rocket factories, Operation Hydra. Tommy is thrilled to be fighting alongside the greatest pilots in the world. For my own part, my nightmares have deepened since Sujeska. The world feels distant and I am numb. I drink and sleep and fly only when called upon to do so. I wish the world would fade away and leave me to my dreamless slumber. Wow, girl. I mean, you gotta get out of that darkness. You gotta believe you're fighting for something. I mean, she might get out of this darkness by the end of this campaign, but we'll see.
Operation Hydra. The Nazis have a new trick. They're building rockets. If they can bomb us without planes, their war is in the bag. So let's pop a few eggs in their nest, eh? You're observing, DeeDee. This'll cheer you up. Nothing like watching a Nazi factory go up, eh? Fireworks, eh?
I am in position, ready to assist as required.
Good job, DeBeck. That's an attitude I can appreciate. You'll like this, DeeDee. The RAF, best pilots in the sky.
I am sure.
You'll see. There'll not be much for you to do.
I am just an observer.
If you'd like to make yourself useful, DeBeck, those barrage balloons aren't making the operation any easier.
Roger.
Time to take out some barrage balloons. It's very fascinating because these were used throughout the war, I think on both sides. I don't actually know what they were supposed to do. Nope, it looks like we pissed off the entirety of the enemy base. But yeah, I don't remember what they do actually in real life back in World War II, but they definitely were a nuisance that the Allies had to deal with.
Good job, DeBeck. The bombers are moving into position. Take care of any AAs you see.
Kill the hackers. Roger.
Watch out for fighters. Make your way to the second target, DeeDee. Try to have the Nazis coming up there and on the way. Wave of fighters inbound.
I'll shoot them down then. If you say so. Wait, what's that? From the airfield. What sort of plane is that?
Quebec, bring it down. We'll ask questions later.
One more kill.
Splendid, Quebec. Operation Hydra is a great success. If you'd be so good as to stay with the lads, I have business elsewhere for a few weeks. Back now.
Honestly, that was probably my favorite mission so far, at least because it just feels like a mix of actually helping the Allied war effort while also being a secret mission of the war. But yeah, we completed the objectives. We took out 11 SDK FZAAs, 15 BF-109s, 1 transports, 4 ME-110s, 1 Kubala wagon, and 1 ME-262. And we lost only 2 Allied Lancaster bombers. And we gained 11 stars and gained a new fighter, which is a German fighter. Muy interesante. August 17th, 1943. Tommy is acting like a child. His new friends are, for the most part, young men, and listen to his stories with wide eyes and open mouths. They act as though the war is just a grand adventure, an old man's story of daring, courage, and skill. I feel a very different way, when I feel it at all. These boys know nothing of the real war. Dang, she's really turned dark since her ordeals in Azerbaijan and in the Balkans. And it looks like we're up next is transport weapons. We must earn the respect and trust of the Polish Home Army, the Army Korzowa. I heard the word before. I tried to pronounce it myself, but I failed. They need a pilot to fly out to a secret munitions factory and bring a consignment of arms back to their base. German aerial patrols are searching for the factory. Engage or invade as the situation demands. Objectives: fly to the factory. Alrighty then. Alrighty, let's see. We have the Spitfire is recommended. The Soviet fighter is. The Messerschmitt Bf-109 is also recommended. And also the Stuka and the other Soviet fighter bomber. Fascinating. I kind of want to. I love how the Messerschmitt and the Spitfire have the exact same stats, which kind of makes sense. But since the Spitfire and the Messerschmitt fought a lot throughout the war, and they were roughly equal in firepower and speed and all that. Granted, different variants of each one were probably superior to a different version, but either way, I think because this might be a stealth mission, I'm going to use the Messerschmitt just for the extra stealth bonus. Better stealth and smuggling missions. And look at that. Look how nice. I kind of like the models. Even though they're outdated in graphics-wise, they look nice regardless. October 22nd, 1943. Of my friends, it's surprising that Clive seems to have the strongest grasp of the logistical necessity of war. Drunk as he so often is, I forget his expertise. He explained that the Polish resistance, the Armata, had been fighting for so long that their organization had learned a great deal. Needing more weapons than they could buy or steal, they had decided to make them. Their factory in Radom produces weapons which I then deliver to AK troops in the field.
Okay, DeeDee, we're smuggling again today. You may find it nostalgic.
Or I may just get it over with.
Well, usual drill. My turn to carry the goods. You keep me alive, eh?
I will do my best.
I'm going into land. Stay in the air, DeeDee. Something's wrong. We've trouble, DeeDee. They took the factory. It's a trap!
Damn it! Get yourself back in the sky. I'll cover you.
Does it really want me to strafe the infantry? Because I swear it showed the infantry as markers. I guess so. Alright, I'm at low speed. Hopefully it doesn't make me... Alright. God, the scream that I hear every time I do that is just a little funny, but also a little dark. Just for the... Ah! Ruh-roh. We're gonna pretend that never happened. I ain't gonna lie. This is probably the worst mission so far. We just went from a pretty decent mission to one that's kind of trash. Because trying to swing back to kill the enemy infantry without crashing into the ground is painful.
Not much of a trap.
Damn it. It wasn't a trap at all. DeeDee, they must have just found the factory. We've got to stop them reporting its location.
Escaping vehicles, got it.
Got them. I got them. The factory's safe.
For the time being.
And there we go. We completed the mission. We completed all the objectives. We took out 6 transports and probably an entire platoon of infantry. And we got 6 stars for that. And we need 6 more for another aircraft. Got it. October 22nd, 1943. The fragility of the army is astounding, as is the bravery of the men and women who compose it. The Radom munitions factory may be a secret for the time being, but the Nazis will inevitably locate it again. All that remains to be seen is how many bullets can be made and delivered to the resistance guns before the Nazis destroy the factory and everyone inside it. She definitely is still holding on to the guilt of what she did in Azerbaijan. I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, like, you're doing good now, so it may not ever fully make up for that, but you're doing enough to at least help instead of harm, if that makes any sense.
McIntyre's latest Polish operation, Operation Hydra, had been a great success. Tommy, Clive and I lived amongst the RAF pilots for a time, hiding from the Nazis at a secret airfield which had been prepared for us by the Polish resistance. I occasionally flew short smuggling flights, mostly to fetch vodka. As the days passed, I spent less time with Tommy. After all we had been through, Tommy had seized upon the comradeship of his countrymen with relish. He even discovered that one of his old squadron was at the camp, a man named Archie Lincoln. I recognized Archie from my father's old photograph and wondered if he knew anything of my father's fate, but I didn't ask. My mood was bleak, and I was exhausted from lack of sleep. The massacre at Sujeska some weeks ago still haunted my nightmares. I spent more time with Clive, and inevitably this meant a lot of drinking. Tommy clearly didn't approve, especially when I took a plane up while I was drunk. But even at his most frustrated with me, Tommy never touched a drop himself. I found myself wishing for word from Night Owl. If I had to help someone, I'd rather it was her than McIntyre.
I ain't even going to try to pronounce that word. I'm sorry, any Polish people that are watching this, if you're watching this. There's some words I kind of understand and try to pronounce, but that one right there, I'm not going to try. I'm going to try to. The patrol. The army believe there to be 4 major German combat forces operating in this area. Your goal is to locate them and gauge their numbers. To avoid a direct confrontation, your plane will be disguised. It is imperative that you do not break this cover. Do not engage with the enemy units. Objective: reach the border post. And it looks like we will be using the Messerschmitt or the Stuka for this mission. I kind of want to use the Stuka just because, but at the same time I have a feeling we're going to get into actual combat. I don't know. Yeah, we'll just stick with the Messerschmitt. November 25th, 1943. Group leader has stranded us in Poland, and all I can do is aid the resistance. Where is Night Owl? I miss her late-night broadcasts. I feel that she has deserted me. I fight with Tommy all the time, even when I try not to. I'm no longer sure why we're doing what we're doing. Like the Yugoslavian People's Liberation Army, the army is stalling the Nazis with their lives. There is no hope of winning. The concept doesn't even exist. She's definitely reached a stage of pessimism. I think that's how you pronounce it, where she's really down in the darkness. I feel like something's going to change to make her have a brighter mood in the future, but I don't know when it's going to happen.
We mustn't be surprised again. We need intelligence. We need to know the extent of the Nazi forces in the area.
Your captured enemy plane gives you an edge. Remember not to fire on your fellow Luftwaffe. That tip them off.
I know what I'm doing. Pretending to be a Nazi so I can recon their forces. I crossed the border.
Good. I'm marking the next checkpoint. Keep your eyes open for Luftwaffe and fly like a German.
I would assume all I have to do is just stay out away from the actual fighters themselves.
Tommy, I've got tanks. Quite a few. This looks bleak.
Do not engage. Go to the next checkpoint. Let's see what else they have.
Artillery located. The Nazis are everywhere, Tommy.
Stiff upper lip. I'll mark the next checkpoint.
Alright, we're good. We should be good.
Something's down there. Light vehicles of some description.
I think you've got company in the air. Play it cool and head for the next checkpoint.
It's crawling with Nazis, Tommy.
Get back here, take it easy. At least we know what we're facing.
Okay. All we gotta do is get to the star, but we gotta avoid those two fighters, which I think are just in a normal patrol, so we might be able to just bypass them by going up against, it looks like the map's border. I'm not sure if that's actually if it's actual border or not, but I'm just gonna hug it, and hopefully the enemy do not notice us over here. Ooh, that's close. That was very close. But we're good. We're good.
I got away with it. I can't deal with these levels of tension, Thomas.
And there we go. We finished the patrol. We completed all the objectives and we got 2 stars for that. Only 4 more for our new aircraft. And it's alright, DeeDee. We made it through it. We just gotta keep going. November 25th, 1943. The recon was strange. At first I was alone. Then I picked out one tank, then another, one Acker, then another, until the ground, through nothing had changed, was swarming with Nazis. It was a disturbing sensation. Nazis everywhere. When I returned from the mission, Tommy and Clive were waiting for me. I felt so distant. I didn't want to look at my friends too closely. In the case, they weren't friends at all. Jesus, she's going paranoid too? Christ. Bombing assessment. Follow the waypoint and determine the success of Operation Hydra on Nazi targets. If the bombing runs were as successful as planned, enemy presence should be minimal. Caution is advised, however. Objectives: assess success of bombing raid. Got it. Alright, let's see. It's recommended for the Spitfire, the Messerschmitt, the regular Soviet, or the bomber attack fighter. There's also the, I don't think I can get to it, the B-25, but I don't think it's a good mission for that. Maybe if we get a bombing mission I can use it, but right now I think it'll be best to probably use the Spitfire. December 25th, 1943. I've been avoiding Tommy, Clive too. We're living with the army, but I keep myself away from the men. I hear their attempts at levity from my tent, the songs, the jokes, and the sudden hushed silences as the ears of the camp strain to detect a suddenly imagined Nazi attack. The AK is large enough to be found, but too small to fight, except from the shadows. I would be safer by myself. And now she's starting to get a little seclusionist, or isolationist, if you want to say another word for that. Very interesting that she's very much going in this route at the moment.
Good day, boss. Tommy asked me to take the radio this time around.
Yes, Clive, I know.
As I understand it, you're rapidly to follow up on Operation Hydra. The line is not a German left in the area. The AK boys have been reporting Nazi sightings for weeks.
Usually bombing raids aren't that majorly successful. I mean, there are some definitely that were successful during World War II, and there were definitely some that were very ineffective. It very depended widely.
I'm at the first waypoint. It looks like nothing's changed since the bombing.
Check the other sites. Any audio fancy?
And plus, it's very easy to repair things if you have the manpower and the resources. Granted, if you start running out of those resources, then bombings will have an impact. Those are, we're getting shot at, and those are a bunch of rockets.
Wait, Clive! I see something. Hell, I've got Nazis! I've got a lot of Nazis!
Don't engage, boss. You need to check the other side so we know how many of the buggers there are.
Now, I'm pretty sure those are V2 rockets. And then there's the air. Oh shit. Yo, we need to get the fuck out of here. Look at this place and get us out of here.
I'm under fire. There are more Nazis here. Damn it. That bombing run must have had barely any effect on personnel. They're still fully functional. They must be using camouflage to pretend that the bombs hurt them.
Sneaky old Hun. Get yourself out of there, boss.
Oh, this is not good. This is not good at all.
Don't worry, we're almost out of here. We're almost out of here.
I'm hit. My engine's burning. I'm going down.
DeeDee! Shit. Where's Tommy?
The bird's wrecked. Goodbye, Tommy.
Welp, the bombing assessment definitely went very badly. We completed the mission and gained 3 stars. We only need 1 more for our new aircraft. And yeah, bombing raids throughout the war on both sides varied in success wildly. It very much depended on the munitions used, how many aircraft were being used, the location, how quickly it was able to repair the damage, how many personnel were lost, both military and civilian. It very much depended. And obviously with this, either the damage was minimal or they were able to repair the damage, because I think the bombing raid occurred a month or 2 ago in this timeline, if I remember correctly, reading the months. But either way, we are down behind enemy lines. How far away from our allies? Unknown. So let's see what happens. December 25th, 1943. I feel so scared, all of a sudden. I feel so empty inside, and yet, when I thought I was about to die, I suddenly felt a tremendously powerful desire to live. What is happening to me? Perhaps I can shake this mood now, and I have been so unpleasant to Tommy recently. It was only later that I realized I had crashed on Christmas Day. There was no celebration in the army camp.
I felt the bullets before I heard them. A dozen juddering hits that tore through the metal and ripped the heart out of my plane. Then the noise came, the terrifying metallic shriek of the ricochet. A cold, high whistle as the air howled through the line of quaint-sized holes in my fuselage. The stick locked into place, the engine spluttered, and died. In that moment, though I never heard it, I fancied I could hear my father's voice. Tally-ho! Into the drink again! But there was no water beneath me, just unyielding earth. I have little memory of what followed, beyond landing hard and staring up at a blue sky, painted white and black with clouds and flak bursts. It was Clive, not Tommy, who comforted me afterwards. He reassured me, gave me brandy, and told me everything was fine. At the time, it seemed like the most normal thing in the world.
Very interesting that it's Clive that actually comforts DeeDee after almost dying. I wonder if there's going to be an actual falling out or a I can't say the word properly sometimes. Tommy and DeeDee getting back together and being friends again, family again, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Recondolence. I don't know how to pronounce the word at the moment. It escapes me. But yeah, luckily we survived and were able to be rescued. Next up is evacuate factory. German bombers are en route to the army munitions factory at Rodom. Hold them off for as long as possible while AK forces organize the evacuation. Protect the evacuating AK personnel. Expect heavy resistance on all fronts. Objectives: defend loading trucks. Alrighty then. And it looks like we have either the Stuka or the Russian bomber. And I'm going to use the Stuka since we haven't actually used it before. I don't think we have, if I remember correctly. January 12th, 1944. I had seen with my own eyes that the RAF bombing of the rocket factory had failed. By camouflaging the factory, pretending that it was damaged, the Nazi forces have brought themselves time to regroup. It is only a matter of time before they strike decisively at Radom. The factory is doomed. All that remains is for us to salvage what we can and begin to plan our escape and our revenge. Sounds like she's getting her spirit back after nearly dying. Okay. Let's go save as what we can.
Get in the sky. Get up there.
I see fighters. I'll do what I can, Tommy. Fly safe.
You too.
The vehicles are loading, grabbing what they can of the ammo. Protect them from those fighters while they load. A stray shell could set the whole lot up.
It's also very interesting that they're making us use fighter bombers / bombers because technically the Stuka, for the most part, was a dive bomber. It wasn't really a fighter, but it's one of like two things they're allowing us to use. So, gotta make do with what we can. Granted, it kind of makes sense since our own actual fighter was taken down. So maybe we don't have an extra fighter in this case. But Jesus, I am slow. Granted, I'm pretty sure this thing is faster than the other one I could have used. But I think the firepower might be stronger because this thing did have cannons, though this one doesn't. Oh, we're taking out M10 or 110s. It's probably a better way to say that. And because we are a two-seat fighter, we get some fighter escort in the back, or gunner escort or assistance. And from what I can tell, the gunner actually can do damage to the enemy. Alright, one more to go. Where is ya?
Second wave incoming. Get those trucks loaded faster.
so nice down here, boss. Given a choice, I'd rather be up there with you.
Come on. I thought I could take out one with the adrenaline or more, but nope. Didn't make enough shots. Did critically damage 3 of them. Ooh, that's a good critical hit. I'm starting to think that luck stat we could sometimes upgrade, maybe give us critical hits.
Blackbeak, this is Night Owl. We are there. The Nazis have another secret weapon. Night Owl? What sort of... Oh, I see it. A train. A train with a bloody big gun.
We better do what we can to stop it, DeeDee.
Ah, yes. I forget what they're called. There was like a dozen of them built during the war, or used during the war. They're actually pretty cool. They can fire, I think... They're not exactly, strong, though. That's one thing about, like, armored cars and trains, or armored trains specifically, and stuff using that. They're very easy to take out. Like, you don't even have to actually destroy the machine itself.
Skies and ground are clear. For now.
Okay, so get your bum back on the ground. I need rescue. I've got a crate of guns and a bottle of the good stuff if you need incentive.
Tommy, I'll pick up Clive. You stay with the convoy.
Roger.
I feel like there's gonna be some more resistance in a minute. There ain't no way this was that easy. Yeah, I forget what they're called. I want to say the not Carl Gustav, Krupp. It was something Krupp, I think. I don't really know. The Krupp gun? No, that was earlier. I forget what it's actually called, but yeah, one was used during the siege of Odessa in 1942, if I remember correctly, during Case Blue, in the Eastern Front.
Oh, cheers, boss.
We need to catch up with the convoy.
That is, convoy's pretty free. Make us some money. But that means you and Tommy have to protect all 3 convoys. Those convoys and Daphnes, incoming German targets. Stop them before they hit our people.
I see them. I'll do what I can.
Kind of wish they showed us where our convoy is so we know. Granted, we get a timer to be able to take them out before they damage us, but it would be a little helpful if we knew where the hell our own allies were. Doesn't matter. It's time. I don't think there's an ability to actually dive bomb in this game. It would be cool though. Okay, we actually kind of had the dive bombing noise. Hang on, I need to test it. I need to test it again. It is. That's pretty cool. Now granted, technically this version of the Stuka shouldn't have it, because it actually wasn't part of the aircraft. It was a device that was strapped onto it. And because of how they dive bomb, air would go through it making the noise. If I remember correctly, that's how it functioned. Still cool though for us to be able to do that.
They survived. It's a bloody miracle.
I see that you're as formidable as ever, Blackbeak.
Let's get away from here. Any direction, just away.
Oh, That's it. I thought we were going to have to defend the other two portions of the convoy. But all right, that's good enough, I guess. We destroyed 10 ME-110s, a single train. It says two trains, but it's a single train. I'm assuming two train cars that were a part of it. One wagon. I assume that's the artillery piece being called that, but I don't think it's called that in real life. And 7 Tiger tanks. We gained 8 stars, and we gained a new aircraft. And that thing is either Soviet or British. I can't tell at the moment, though. January 12th, 1944. Hearing Night Owl's voice was a relief. I couldn't avoid the thought that one day, with no warning, we'd simply cease hearing from her. Forever. She told us about Operation Belt, an organized assault by the army against border posts defining the territory annexed by the Nazis. Tommy, Clive, and I volunteered to aid the AK and were assigned orders. We all imagined some sort of revenge for Rodom and for Sujeska. Operation Belt. Polish forces are making a last-ditch attempt to push the Nazis out of. I ain't gonna try to pronounce it. Your role is to fly ahead to scout the strength of the enemy. Once the Polish ground troops have engaged with the Axis forces, provide whatever air support is required. Expect heavy resistance in the air and on the ground. Objectives: fly to the marked point. And it looks like a Stuka or this fighter is recommended. Also, this one, the DB-3. It is a Soviet aircraft. And it's basically the same stats as the other Soviet fighter, but this one's actually a bomber. Interessante. I kind of want to use the Stuka again because it has a little bit better fighter power. Granted, the endurance is much weaker, but no, I'll do the Stuka. I'll do the Stuka just because I think it might be helpful. November 25th, 1943. The Radom factory hadn't been the only supply point for the AK forces. Having deployed the means by which to fight back, a number of raids upon border posts had been planned to take place over a number of weeks. These attacks would disrupt the occupying forces and drain resources from the Axis war effort. They would also raise morale in a country in desperate need of hope. Let's do this. Also, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be November 25th, 1940. Actually, no. No, never mind. I was about to... Wait, no, yeah, it should be November the 44th. I think the game messed up its own timeline because it was just December 25th, 1943, and now it's November 25th, 1943. That's not how the months work.
The AK are gathering for a concerted attack on multiple Nazi border posts. We're going to meet a couple of RAF planes for support, so head to the rendezvous waypoint first.
Roger. Do you have any other friends we can call upon?
DeeDee, I just don't know.
Tommy, Mr. Beck. It will be a pleasure to fly with Guillaume's daughter.
Archie! Now the Germans are in trouble. The great Archie Lincoln is out of retirement and back in the sky.
I remember you from Tommy's photograph. You knew my father.
Good day. Tally ho, into the drink again.
Let's stay in the sky this time.
The AK are fighting on the border. The faster we take out the hub, the fewer casualties we'll sustain. Remember, we're badly outnumbered.
Roger that. We'll just outfight them.
Eliminate defending German units within time limits. So we have basically almost 4 minutes to do so. Got it. Well, let's get to it. I love how these bullets can take out Tiger tanks. Granted, these Stuka did have forget what it's called. 20mm cannons, I think.
We have company from the east. Incoming fighters.
Our targets are the priority. Leave those German boys to the RAF.
Roger. Y'all have fun. I'll be doing what I can. Now let's slow down a little bit. Turn around, and now let's do some damage. Alright, we got 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. We're getting engaged. Lovely, lovely. Well, that's A-okay. Most of the ground targets have been destroyed. I think there's only 1 or 2 more AA guns actually able to threaten me.
They have reached the border. Straight into the teeth of the Nazi artillery. They need a miracle.
I'm feeling relatively miraculous. First time in a long time.
Do it. We'll tie up the Luftwaffe.
Alright, time to take out the artillery. Got 4 minutes to do so. Holy crap, that's a lot of targets. We got this. Alright, let's line up a horizontal attack. Alright. Target-rich environment, here we go. For my air support, y'all aren't really dealing with the bastards on my back. That's another section down. Only so many more to go. And it looks like our rockets are right back. Now, I'm not sure if the Stuka ever used rockets in real life at any point. But granted, it probably is very useful in this game to have most of your aircraft be able to function mostly the same. Because it would be kind of hard. That looks like 1 more target's left, and I think it's a truck. Oh!
Okay, the main force is in sight. Nazis, Nazis, Nazis. The force seems commensurate with the force I scouted before Christmas.
The AK's advanced, DeeDee. Those tanks remain. We'll move to the back.
Alright, let's take out the tanks. Also, I think that's the first time I've seen Panzer IVs modeled in this game. I'm surprised they weren't being used earlier on in the campaign, since they were more prevalent than the Tigers. But it is A-okay. Granted, I think they're also labeling the Panzer IVs as Tigers. You know, it's funny, that's technically historically accurate because a lot of American or Allied tanks or tankers or aircraft misidentified many tanks as Tigers or Panthers throughout the war. So low-key, not granted, I know it is historically inaccurate and probably a mishap on the developers, But in terms of the war, it would kind of make sense in universe or in real life. It
That's
does make sense.
It's quiet. Did we win?
It would seem so. My friends, it has been an honor to fly with you. I'm glad I got to share the sky with you once more.
And voila, we completed Operation Belt. We took out 22 Tiger tanks / Panzer IVs and maybe some Panzer IIIs technically. We took out 8 transports, 6 SDKV or FZAAs, 9 artillery pieces, and it looks like there's a typo. There's 2 Rs instead of 1 R. 4 trucks and 4 BF-109s. In turn, our allies lost 2 T-34s, 2 pieces of artillery, and 2 M16AAs. We gained 8 stars in total, and we only need 2 more for another aircraft. Alrighty then. And it looks like we can upgrade our skills. And I think what I'm going to do is increase our endurance, which I believe is our health. November 25th, 1943. Operation Belt was a great success. During February, 13 border posts were disrupted by the army. Now Night Owl informs us that it is time to move on. Our time in Poland was difficult. We're tired, but we did celebrate with a few crates of vodka that Clive and I had located. And crashing my bird seems to have helped me as well. I no longer feel the helplessness that the Sujeska massacre inspired in me. I hope I will never feel that way again. Well, hopefully you're not here for the Warsaw Uprising because that was very
In
depressing.
the flesh, Archie Lincoln was as I had imagined him to be. A gruff, friendly bear of a man, with a generous pipe of tobacco permanently puffing away from beneath his bristles. He had a pronounced limp, a souvenir of previous campaigns. As the camp celebrated Operation Belt, he approached me to share vodka and stories of the past. I think he was curious about me. McIntyre had been very much the same. Once again I got the impression that these men, rough, tough flyers all, had been a little in awe of my father. But I had no past, only the stories passed on to me of the man who was my father. My image of him was becoming clearer, but there were still many questions to be answered. As the drinks flowed, Archie gave me another piece of the puzzle.
February 16th, 1944. Archie Lincoln had flown with the RAF for half his life. I met him in my final days in Poland as he worked on behalf of the RAF in that city, attempting to work out why their bombing raid had been so ineffective. Apparently, he'd been drinking with group leader some months ago, and my name had come up. He was keen to talk about the past.
I remember the Battle of Cape Helles well. There was some bloody flak in the leg. And the rubber is. But it's tight. Paper and straight. Flak cut straight through. And it's like a bust. The end of the battle. Luckiest man in the sky, that's what we call him. The man that couldn't kill. Rid of my old chum Paul Peterson and Breckland Renee. Never worked out right. I was glad of the company. Good lad. Good times. This was Gallipoli, May 1916. Turkey, supplies attack. A few days later there was a ceasefire. And they took me out of my mind. McIntyre told me where to find you, by the way. We flew together a bit.
He told us a story of your days together.
Nice, good times. Hard not to like old bunch of McIntyre. Good pilot, though. We were all a bit impressed, you know. Scared of the man. All except Guillaume, who didn't give a toss. It was a stupid fight, Cape Helles. They just kept coming. We were trying to keep an eye on the big picture, trying to give the boys on the ground a helping hand. And we were kept very busy. One thing about Joe Paddy was a low score. He kept counting, though. Not seriously. I always felt that McIntyre sort of liked him. He went for the kill every time, no mercy for that one. War was a serious business.
My father didn't like to kill.
Mere bull. We didn't like the killing, but it's them or you. Those guns sprayed all over. Hard not to kill them. But you die. Sometimes you would get this mood going, sort of lyrical, in the clouds. And he'd force them down. Takes a lot of skill, that. It's easier just to spray and hit the gas, or clip a wing, or just chop the fellow up in his seat. But sometimes, in the right mood, Guillaume forced him down as best he could. Strange one, Guillaume. Then I got hit. Had to limp back to lab, my leg leaking like a broken jam jar. You know how it feels when you get hit? Of course you do. You feel the bird jerk trying to get away from you, like she wants to run, just to get the hell away. And you think, is that it? How bad is it? Am I dead already? I hate that sinking feeling. Am I dead already? How do you know till you're back on the soil? Boom! Wait. No, sorry, that didn't happen yet.
Oh, I see. I can't turn left at all. So I have to turn right fully. And the more I try to turn left, it makes me turn right automatically, so I might have to time this right to then turn around all the way so I can land. Alright, hopefully this works, because I don't think it might. Nope. Crap.
So when you get back on the soil, feels a bit special, that. Good times.
February 16th, 1944. With that, Archie limped away. His story told me little beyond the fact that my father had still been alive in May of 1916. Tommy hadn't spoke once since the story had been told, and had been either unable or unwilling to look me in the eye. My impression was that he genuinely didn't want to know any more about the fate of my father. But my desire to know the truth was gaining strength. If he was dead, what had killed the luckiest man in the sky? And with that, Operation Belt has been completed. And now we must move on to Operation Overlord. Muy interesante. Though Operation Overlord starts in June, it looks like our first steps into helping this operation will be in March. And then following with August, the second month into Operation Overlord. Muy interesante. And with that, we conclude today's chapter of our campaign into Secret Wars. I hope you all enjoyed today's chapter. I certainly did. Until next time, this is Ghost, signing out.